things that, there are many, many lessons from 2020, and it's important to acknowledge just how devastating a year that's been on so many levels. But the COVID pandemic has really hit marginalized communities incredibly hard. It's had an impact on just about everybody. That's been incredibly challenging. And one of the things I think it highlighted, well, a couple things I think it highlighted are, one, our interconnectedness, as well as our interdependence. Where we saw something that started in one part of the world, spread broadly, and we saw many kind of systems that were connected at a local, regional, national, international level, have really come under a lot of pressure. What I think is so important and is so tricky to think about shifting our economic system is that it is so intertwined with every other system that we have, and so we can't think about it in isolation. But if we think about how it interacts with the way we think about, as you mentioned, health and education, natural systems that we're all kind of part of, our political system and beyond, you can't tweak with one without affecting the others. And I think that many people who start thinking about our economic system go straight to government. Others go straight to individuals and the roles that we play as consumers and individuals. And that does provide a lot of complexity to how we think about these issues. I also think it actually offers a lot of opportunity if we can manage to get our heads around this, because I think one of the things that I know we want to talk about later in this conversation is that we actually, there's no kind of like silver bullet or quick fix to shifting a system. We're in a day and age where we want life hacks to everything, kind of quick fixes to do things that, take more time usually. And, what's our shortcuts for that? But when we think about systemic change, we have to lean into the complexity and also have a lot of humility about what we can actually do. But things like how we allocate capital, how we define success, what incentives we use to hold ourselves accountable are all really relevant in this, as are things like the rules of the game written by our government. And so I think one of the things that's important is for us to, and part of what we can do as networks, is really help to surface the different vantage points that people have into the system, and also help to underscore the fact that we actually need people to be moving the system from a variety of perspectives, and really thinking about that it's not just government reform, for example, on something like taxation policy, which could be hugely transformational to many issues, whether it's about kind of like tax distribution or carbon taxes or other things, those can often make, a dramatic change. But we also need people who are figuring out alternative models that don't require government to form them, about how to develop regenerative systems, regenerative approaches to the built environment, to agriculture and others. Community level approaches of thinking about mutual aid and self-organizing, and how people in COVID have actually, worked together to solve problems at the community level, independent of government institutions. These are all part of the systemic shift, and I think it's something that we need to help figure out. The part of the work is identifying how these things fit together, and a recognition that they're all part of a bigger effort.